So risk is in everything. There is no way you can mitigate risk 100%. You know why I can say that? Because insurance. Think about it. If a car was completely safe, there would be no such thing as car insurance. Or if a home was completely safe, there'd be no such thing as a homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance. So because there's risk out there, there's insurance. But we're not here to talk about insurance. We're here to talk about projects. So how do we identify our risks? Well, first we just start thinking of them. What could go wrong? Think about it. Well, who would have thought a virus would go around the world and then flare up again? Well, that's something that we can identify. And how do we assess that risk? Well, for the university and many other universities, they move their classes online. That was one way they were able to mitigate the risk to the student population and the faculty and the staff. But they had to assess that risk. How bad is that risk? Well, a lot of people did not find the potential infection acceptable at all. So the decision was to make that a high priority. So that's why classes went online. And many people didn't like that. However, many people were able to avoid infection because of that. So a little bit of pain was able to mitigate a larger pain in this case. But there's more kind of risks than just identifying it that we can identify. There's 3 general categories that we're going to identify, then we're going to assess the impact, we're going to prioritize it. Is it something we need to deal with now, or is it something we can deal with later? And then we're going to come up with a plan on how to mitigate it. So we have our known knowns. These are events that have a track record. For example, if you live in the southeast part of the United States, you know that there's going to be hurricanes, right? At least I hope you do. Well, hurricanes cause a lot of damage. So when it's hurricane season, hopefully you have enough insurance, or you have a plan on how to get out of the area if it's required. So these are known risks. You can plan for them. You know when they're going to happen because there's a track record of them. What about the known unknowns? So these are events that you know can happen but have no consistent pattern or history. For example, a tornado. So if you live in the Midwest of the United States, tornadoes happen. You know that they happen, but you don't have a consistent pattern. You don't know that every Thursday that a tornado is going to come down Main Street. You don't know that. You just know they happen. And there's certain conditions that can kind of make tornadoes more likely, but you're not 100% sure. Now I'm using natural disasters because it's just kind of easier. So now we have our unknown unknowns. So these are conceivable but unusual and unexpected. For example, an earthquake hitting West Virginia. It's conceivable. Earthquakes happen. But in West Virginia, that is a little wacky. That's weird. That's a little crazy. But we all know about earthquakes, right? We know where they generally happen, and every so often there's an earthquake that happens in an area that's like, why is there an earthquake there? There shouldn't be one. Well, it can happen. Is it likely? Probably not, but it's a unknown unknown because it's conceivable, but unlikely, but it's unusual and it's unexpected if it does happen. So let's move on to our classification matrix, our heat map tool. So risk classification matrix. So if you're looking at your risk, you're looking at the likelihood of the risk on your left-hand side and your impact of the risk. So which ones do you think you want to do first, to deal with first? I'll give you a hint. They're circled. So you want to deal with the ones that are in the upper left or the upper right-hand corner first. So they're highly likely to happen and they have a severe impact. And you don't need to really worry about the ones that are rare and trivial, which is the opposite end of the spectrum there. Because, I mean, they're rare and they cause such a minor impact. So if it does happen, you might not even really notice it did happen. But those severe ones that have those highly likely ones that are, let's say, 95% chance going to happen, that have a severe impact, like maybe could cause your company to close its doors. Yeah, you want to deal with those and create a plan for those immediately. So we want to take a look at these. And your company will have some guidelines in project management on these, on which ones they did. And this is where you can also look at the lessons learned from the previous projects and how did they deal with these risks that happened. How did they plan to deal with them? And hopefully you can use those so you don't have to duplicate the work. Someone already did it. And they have already said, oh yeah, that was a great plan. Or no, that was a bad plan. We should have done this. You see now how these lessons learned and after actions make sense now? So yeah, that was our risk mitigation. Now, you can get certified in risk and still be just scratching the surface. This is such a huge category of knowledge. But it's all about preparing for it and how are you going to deal with it if it does happen, and what is your plan to perhaps avoid and minimize the risk out there. All right, so this was the end of topic 5. So project design and management. And hopefully you got interested in this topic and you want to learn more about project management. If you do, definitely reach out to me and I can give you more information. I can give you maybe a student membership to an organization where you can learn more information. So thanks for being here for topic 5, and I look forward to talking and working with you through topic 6.